In this video, you're gonna hear a top black entrepreneur slam BEE while the comrades are doubling down. And if you stay with me all the way till my biblical reaction, then you'll get to hear JJ Tabane's world famous rants. But this is important information because we committed, no matter how much noise they make, South Africa will prosper. You ready? Okay, press like and let's go. Passionate, emotive defense of the policy of black economic empowerment.
Now, BE is, for me, I would argue that BE must stay in place. You just need new implementers of it. I don't think anybody should be taken serious who will say BE must go, because those people are not understanding why in the first place it was established. And you need to distinguish, therefore, between its implementation and its rationale, and it, therefore, is necessity to level the playing field. I always say, I think that white people must be laughing at us, because actually they are the beneficiaries of BE more than blacks.
Sure.
Yeah, because when they BE, they say, oh, no, they are so very apologetic. In 5 years, please, can black people please own 25%?
Yeah.
In the financial sector, it's worse. They're saying, no, black people should own 10%. They even fail to meet that low target.
That was
when you say black people must own 10%, you are saying 90% must remain in the hands of whites.
Yeah.
When you say 25% or 26%, etc., you are saying the balance remain. That's why they're the worst beneficiaries. I say, hey, these guys got in power. At the BE dialogue a few days ago, I think it was Dalimpov who said something that I have never quite understood that way. He's saying, in 94, black people won the majority of the votes.
Yeah.
And so they won the majority of cabinet.
Yeah.
Right? They were given the majority of cabinet. Imagine if after they won elections, people sat down and said, no, we understand you won 2/3. I think it was 68 or something.
2/3 for a number of years.
We understand you won 2/3, but won't you please take 1/3 of the power?
Yeah.
He's saying, if that makes no sense, why in the economy does it make sense to say BEE when it's fully implemented and you are level A, or what is level 1?
Level 1.
Right?
Yeah.
You can still be level 1 and your business is owned 9% by black people. And then the rest is still owned by white people. There's a sense of entitlement in some of our white population that is actually staggering. And they've suddenly they are what is emboldened.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether they're emboldened by Trump or they're emboldened by what, God knows what, or maybe emboldened by the JNU concoction.
South Africa has been stuck in this cycle for 30 years. It takes 5 years to see which direction a certain policy is going. South Africa has done this circle 6 times over 6 administrations. So 30 years of this. Problem, we've just come out of apartheid. Therefore, there's inequality. Great. But what comes out of that? See, you don't move from problem to a solution. You see a problem, but that gets processed through your rationale. That's where ideology comes in. Marxism has a different idea of what justice is from biblical justice. So the rationale then processes it and says, let's come through with some regulation. Here's a law. It's BEE. Great. Let's go. The regulation starts to get results. The more it's implemented, the more black people do worse. But guess what? In this cycle, the person doesn't go, why are we getting bad results? They rationalize. We're not doing it hard enough. The white people are not coming on board. We need new implementers. That's rationalizations. And usually what do? They keep growing the problem. So what do? They keep going through the same rationale to add more laws, which creates more bad results. They keep rationalizing. And why is it that the more we've heard victim parties talking about how black people are such victims, Black people's lives have been getting worse. The shacks have been growing. Unemployment has been growing. The corruption has grown to murder. Everything has been getting worse and worse. Yet they rationalize, grow the problem, use the same rationale like we heard. He says BE must stay because the rationale is good. Here's the problem, sir. No one is employed at Rationale. No one grows their business at Rationale. That only happens at Results Station. The results tell me there are more shacks today than when BEE was first implemented. Here's the other way it can go. You have a problem. We've come out of apartheid. It goes through a rationale. You have regulations, laws. You get results. Results say, I'm not doing what you said I was intended to do. Narcissists can't do the next step. Reflection. I take a step back. If this was my intention, I put in a law, regulation, and all of that, and I start getting opposite results. I step back, I reflect. That's how you get renewal. In other words, you consider, should I approach this from a different rationale? Because as much as the rationale was good, it's not producing the results. That's how you get renewal, and you may actually, on the third time around, you find the problem is being solved. If this was being done every 5 years, by 15 years, South Africa should just be saying, let's keep what we're doing because it's working. We are all excited. We are all inspired. Let's keep at it. Here, Khandani Msibi, a top entrepreneur, on the State of the Nation with Mike Sham, talking about BEE.
I'm a black business person. We're not anybody's BEE partners. We run black business. Right? South Africa has not sorted out its issues, but in that we all know what apartheid has done to black people and to black business. Right? The ANC came up with legislation that have done nothing serious over the past 30 years than annoy both sides. Right? We're angry that there's no progress in BEE. And white business is angry that BEE has been here for too long. Right? So this is a case of legislation that has set us more at loggerheads with the state on opposite end. Because the state hears white business saying that enough, and black business say there isn't anything. The reality of the matter is that the state, in my opinion, has shirked its responsibility for the empowerment of black people and put it on white business. Where you as a white man, you own a studio here, you should sell me 30% of your studio. Why must you do that? Yeah. Right? You should employ my daughter and not yours. Right? Why must you do that? Right? So I find BEE legislation to be counterintuitive in that way. Right? That the state should have taken responsibility itself for black economic empowerment rather than farm it out to white people. I think there's a need for black business that will participate with white business, not as juniors owning 30%, 10%, but as competing peers in the industry. I have this view that for the mere fact that employment every year, our ministers complain about the slowness of employment, equity, slowness of BEE. If I was white, I wouldn't transform either, because you're asking me to shoot myself in the foot, right? South Africa is very much awash with false narratives. All banks and insurance companies are all level 1 BEE. All of them claim to be doing procurement from black business. And if they all are, why are we having a problem? Can you see how that legislation is flawed in that they qualify in terms of that legislation, but 100% compliance has not led to a situation where visibly people can say there's change. We don't have a black bank. We don't have a black insurance company. In fact, that side is a sore point for me because in the business that we run, I'll tell a story. 2017, they changed the Insurance Act. We went to Parliament to oppose the legislation as 4 black insurance companies. We presented to the portfolio committee. We were not heard because, and I remember Floyd saying that, no, you must say what percentage of shares in white insurance companies do you want? We here, as black insurers, we don't want to have any shares of anybody's company.
We're happy with our own company.
We're happy with our own company. We said to Parliament, we don't want you to move the prudential part to the Reserve Bank, because as soon as you move us to the Reserve, there were 4 of us, 4 black insurance companies. As soon as you move these companies to the Reserve Bank, the Reserve Bank will destroy all of us. And so far, 3 are down. They didn't listen to us because they thought, you see, our parliamentarians are sitting with the mindset that what is good for a black man is to be a junior to a white man in a BE deal, not that the black man can start his own company.
Wow, drops mic. The only thing they can think of, the highest the black guy gets in order to even the playing field, is for him to be a junior partner to a white man. How do you get the overall country to win when all the law is set up for losers? But listen to 3 examples that he gives of how the comrades are killing black entrepreneurs in the name of BEE and transformation and redress.
I'm not afraid of any of the white companies to compete with. I'm more afraid of black people in regulatory offices. But and I can tell about all regulators. The South African economy is highly regulated, but the most untransformed part of the economy is the regulated part. So I'm asking that if you're the state and you have regulatory power, and your regulators, all they have done over the past 20 years is to destroy black business, what are you saying must happen? What are you saying white business must do when you are the most destructive force amongst black people? And I'll give you 3 examples now of how the state has destroyed black business. The first one is the prevention of black business taking on white business through the CIBD.
Which is?
The Construction Industry Development Board. CIDB, yeah. What that legislation does, the state is the biggest provider of construction tenders by far. But here's the situation. I'm an engineer, right? And I work for Marion Roberts. I can handle a 10 billion rands project by myself. I can become the leader of that 10 billion rands project with people that I have hired to come in here. But as soon as I decided to leave Marion Roberts with all my qualifications and experience, and now I want to start my own construction company, that company gets a rating that doesn't qualify it to handle 10 billion rands contracts. I can only handle 10 billion rands contracts for as long as I work for Marion Roberts. Hang on, I can build a 10 billion rands building when I'm with Marion Roberts and I have 0 input from my boss, but when I stand by myself, I can't handle it. That's the first thing. It's done by the state. They would rather have you own 20% of Marion Roberts and be a junior at Marion Roberts than stand on your own. Right? The short-term insurance industry, the FSCA came up with regulations that stopped brokers from collecting cash from the clients and made it the exclusive domain of the insurer. Now, the implication of that is that there's very little mobility of clients through the broker, right? So the black brokers were very powerful in the industry. They've lost the leverage.
Because in the one case you're a client of the broker, now you're a client of the insurance company.
Precisely.
That own you.
Yeah. The fastest growing long-term insurance and funeral policies, historically, undertakers would provide you with a cover that then said that when you die, I'll bury you. They then came up with a regulation that says, no. You pay cash. And as soon as they said you pay the cash for the claim, right? Banks could provide funeral policies, whereas in the past, banks could not provide funeral policies. So they opened up the market to the big boys. And then the next thing, which is you just mentioned now, they said, whoa. By the way, you may have gone and sourced this client. You know where he stays. They know where you stay. But lo and behold, they are not your client. They are the client of the insurer who's underwriting. Therefore, you have zero power. You cannot use your power to move policyholders, right, to leverage your position with the insurer. Right now, these are the things that are done by the state. If you want to transform the economy, do the things that will result in natural transformation, right, than unnatural transformation where people have to be forced to do things that they'd rather not do. Right? There's a spirit that has been killed amongst black people. Yeah. That if we don't rekindle it, yeah, we've created a nation of dependence. Right? There used to be vuguzels, wake up and do things for yourself. Yeah? Long before people got to have social grants. Right?
Sure, this was such a breath of fresh air. And this is what it comes down to. What is the problem with BEE, all the transformation laws and regulations? It's that they are unfriendly to business. And they are unfriendly to me as an entrepreneur. They are unfriendly to Khandani Msibi as an entrepreneur. They are unfriendly to all other entrepreneurs. And usually they are done to protect big business that's in with the greedy comrades at the expense of the dynamic winners in the country who, when they win, they employ more people, they grow the economy, everyone wins. And unfortunately, all the laws are written for victims. And victims, unfortunately, will never employ anyone anyway. There's no person that comes from crying about apartheid for 30 years who then builds a big business and empowers people. It's the people who are able to get up and say, life's unfair, but I have a dream, I have a vision, let me do it. Unfortunately, for those people, all the laws are in their way, including BEE, including expropriation, including NHI, including all the transformation laws. And the solution is to remove all regulation that is unfriendly to business. The more friendlier you are to business, you will not have poverty or unemployment. And you'll have high mobility, and you'll start to have more and more entrepreneurs and business people and talented employees rise through the ranks, because economic growth creates a problem of too many opportunities. If you look at the World Bank Group's Ease of Doing Business Index of 2019, look at the top 10 countries first: New Zealand, Singapore, Hong Kong, Denmark, South Korea, United States, Georgia, United Kingdom, Norway, Sweden. Not a single person in those countries is measured by our level of measurement of poverty. Not a single one. Someone says we don't like the West, we like BRICS. Whatever, let's check. We have Brazil. All right, then we have Russia. Look at this. They are number 28. Let's check China. They are at number 31 on the ease of doing business. It is easy to do business in China in comparison to South Africa. South Africa, 84 out of 190 countries. And this was in 2019. By now, we're probably approaching 100 because things have been getting worse. If we like Russia and China so much, then why is it harder to do business in South Africa compared to in China or Russia? So, this is my biblical reaction. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. You're not a fool when you fail, but you're a fool when you keep repeating something that has proven to be a failure because of continuous rationalization and a refusal of reflection. And that's why I say no man can serve two masters, because either he'll love the one or hate the other, or he'll despise the one and honor the other. You can't serve God and Karl Marx. Marxism, neo-Marxism, and all its sons and grandkids are based on that they are victims and victimizers as an identity. Here's the problem. If you view yourself as a victim, as an identity, you can never self-reflect, and you will get stuck in a cycle of failure upon failure upon failure. Because Africa is mainly neo-Marxist, that's why most African countries are dirty, filthy failures, which are busy blaming the CIA for their failures. And if you go the other way, you can self-reflect. You can back off and say, is this working? No, it's not. I wonder, is the way I'm thinking working? No. If you're thinking like a victim, you can never be a victor. Here's the thing. You always have a choice. You either think like a victim or you think like a victor. If you think like a victim, you will always fail. If you think like a victor, you will always overcome. And so, you can't have both. So, let's make history together. Let me hear your thoughts below. Cheers.